Did you know that every year I finish my homeschool year with not a lot of energy? It's kind of lackluster and I'm not really excited to start again. I kind of feel done. It doesn't feel exciting like it did back in September. How about you? This is the time of year that I start wrapping things up. You can ask my son, he's just doing a little math these days. But that energy, or that lack of energy, that lack of excitement, I'm good with that because I recognize that this is what it is. It's a season. And seriously, what are the chances that I'm going to love every single day, all my homeschool days? No, you neither. And when else would I experience homeschool fatigue? Okay, seriously, probably at the end of the homeschool year and probably February because that's also slump month, right? Can I hear an amen? Or at least it is on this part of the world. And I would probably suggest that at the beginning of May, end of April, that's usually the time of year that I'm getting into that place of I don't really want to do this anymore. And usually probably a few more days because, we don't love doing what we're doing all the time. No one does. Certainly the third year in, I had a giant shift in my homeschool because I came to understand that how it was actually being experienced and what I thought it was supposed to be weren't the same things. By the end of May, though, I usually close up the homeschool room. I don't even dust. I don't put books away. I don't gather papers and find the pencils and look for erasers and scissors, and who's going to find the erasers anyway? But I find all of that stuff later. At the end of May, I just close the door and walk away. But anyways, mostly we haven't been homeschooling inside that homeschool room the entire year, so all of our stuff is not in there anyhow. I just let stuff sit until usually July when I start to get motivated again. But you know what? I actually think that this time of year when we get really tired of all the stuff is a really good time to do a year-end review. So I'm inviting you to a year-end review where we can look at how your homeschool's been and how you want to plan for the next year. A chance to recollect our ideas. I bet we've heard about a few different routines or curriculums or maybe a philosophy or a book we want to explore. Maybe we want to incorporate some of those things. Maybe there were certain things from the last year we definitely don't want to include. We can springboard into the new year by looking back at our past year. So if you're interested in doing that, you're welcome to join me, but you'll find the link in my bio. But I wanted to share with you today a few ideas in how you can assess for yourself how to get maybe a week of clarity, spending 1 week clarifying what it was you were doing over the last year that worked and what didn't work. And so I've actually created a journaling workbook, because this is what I do, called Reimagine Your Homeschool Workbook, which I'm going to include in the admission to the year-end review. And one of the first things that we're going to do is do an assessment of what's been going on over the last year. Because if you don't know what's going on, how can you address it? And oftentimes, we just kind of hope that we can close the homeschool door and forget about it. And we'll feel revived by the mere act of sitting on a beach with a book, which we sort of are. But we also need to actually look at what wasn't working, what was working, what do we really want in this homeschool thing. So we can't address what we don't know exists. We are usually so busy and have so many ideas and so many activities and so many kids that sometimes it's hard to keep track of all the things. But I'm going to give you a few things that you can look at, a few questions that you can consider so you can assess your homeschool. So your goal for 1 week, if you are not already occupied with me doing all sorts of other things to assess your homeschool, then I would encourage you to record your experience of the actual activities that you're doing in your homeschool. What are the things that you've been doing over the course of 1 week? When we observe it, without making any intention towards our activity, like not trying to change it in the moment or deciding that we really don't like the activity this week. No, just record what you're doing. Write down what you're actually doing. For example, every Friday we have Fun Friday and we take a field trip somewhere. That was part of our routine and I loved it. Or every morning we read together on the sofa. That was pretty good, except I didn't know what to do with the toddler. Or I don't know what to do with my busy toddler when I do formal studies with my oldest child. I enjoyed exploring a Charlotte Mason approach, but I didn't like poetry. Or I found myself yelling more than I'd like. I preferred learning with documentaries and less with the workbook that everybody else says that they love. So in this Reimagine Your Homeschool workbook, you're going to see a 1-week to clarity worksheet that you can put anywhere. You can put it on the kitchen counter and keep it there, and then include, maybe a couple times in the day where you write down what you actually did, the activities that you did, maybe the routine that you have, maybe the curriculum you used, maybe the resources, maybe the activities, the extracurriculars, just all the things. And then write how you feel about it. Jot down your thoughts, because you can't assess what you don't know exists. So I have 4 pages of questions that are journaling workbook type questions. They're not difficult questions. They're things like these. How have you experienced your past homeschool year? How would you say your child has experienced this past homeschool year? What elements made it challenging? Or what elements made it charming and lovely? Tell me about your homeschool vision. What philosophies guide your homeschool approach? What did you learn about your homeschool kids this year? What did you learn about you this homeschool year? Was there an activity, curriculum, or routine that you would delete? Is there an activity, curricular activity, or a routine that you'd like to include? Do the activities or routines that you incorporate align with your homeschool vision? Are you entering a new phase of your homeschool? Sometimes we include a new child in our homeschool routine. Sometimes they enter into a new phase like high school or maybe post-secondary school and they're still living at home. Where do you see each of your children growing, or how are they growing? And in what ways are they growing? In what ways would you say your homeschool is complex? In what ways would you say you have a simple homeschool? What challenge do you need to address this upcoming homeschool year? In what ways have you been showing up on purpose and growing into yourself as a homeschool mama? Where do you want to grow with intention this upcoming year? What do you need to do in order to do that this year? And what encouragement do you need to keep going this year? If you've come this far in this video, then I'm going to ask that you throw a comment in the comments section and let me know, what encouragement do you need for this upcoming homeschool year? So those are some of the questions that we're going to explore in the assessment element of the review, the year-end review that we're going to do together. And that is the beginning, because we're going to talk about, in an hour and a half, we're going to spend time discussing your homeschool vision and what the actual experience was this last year and how it aligns with your vision. Also, the different philosophies or books or ideas that you've taken from the homeschool community, how you can actually incorporate that into your homeschool, or delete it, because you can do that too, or pick and choose, because we all do that. And also, we're definitely going to discuss the planning practicalities. So we're going to talk about real resources and curriculum and extracurriculars and activities and all the things that you may have heard about. And my specialty, we're going to talk about how you show up on purpose in your homeschool. All those different elements we're going to discuss in the year-end review, so you're invited. If you want to join the wait list, you can find the link in my bio, and I would love to hear from you. What do you need as an encouragement for your new homeschool year. We'll talk to you soon.